Welcome back to WARPAINT. I'm Kim Coulter, and today we're talking about Springfield, Ohio, the place the media swore was just a debunked Trump conspiracy theory. My guest, Joshua Lisec, is a professional ghostwriter of over 120 books, co-author of Unhumans with Jack Posobiec, and the guy who actually went to Springfield. He talked to hundreds of people and wrote the first full-length documentation of what really happened when tens of thousands of Haitians were dropped into a small, working-class, and let's face it, mostly white Midwestern city. Joshua's new book, called The Haitians of Springfield, it's coming out on October 6th. This one's raw. Let's get started.
This isn't a push-up bra, it's body armor, and this ain't makeup, sweetheart, it's WARPAINT.
They told you the war was over, and that the culture battle was done, dusted, settled. They told you to go home, smile nice, and obey. But you're here. And so am I. Which means it's not over. Who wants to begin?
I'm tired of sleeping and dreaming about the shell of a being. I'm tired of working and bleeding. I am the God and I mean it.
There can be only one.
16, pouring up another scene. Papa got the vaccine, so ain't no acting, playing no practice. Niggas wanna check this out in playlist. Fuck you, pay me. I'm tired of sleeping and dreaming about the shell of a being. I'm tired of working and bleeding. I am the God and I mean it.
Okay, so welcome to the show, Josh Lisec. Did I just say that wrong again? Is that right?
No, it's just fine.
Lisec. Okay, great. Thank you so much for joining us today on WARPAINT. Why don't you start by telling the people who might not be aware a little bit about yourself and a little bit about the book and why you're here today?
Yes, let's start there. So I, as a kid, like many kids, wanted to be an author one day. In my case, I read a number of the great novels of the Western canon, from C.S. Lewis to Tolkien. A lot of people don't know about the space trilogy that he wrote. That is just incredible content. Highly recommend that. It was in that period of life that I'm reading these things. I think, I want to write the next great American novel one day. And so I began writing, and one thing leads to another. And I was 20 years old, and I got myself a book deal with a rather small publisher at that time. But it was in the action-adventure genre. The fourth Indiana Jones film was fresh in people's heads, and I kind of wanted to, let's say, coast on that a little bit, because you also had the Uncharted video game series that came out. Millennials, love this action venture business, so okay, that's what I'm going to go for. That's what people want. So I'm already thinking in like commercializing, storytelling for cash money, let's say. And then something interesting happens. As I'm marketing my novels in this Upstart series, a couple of older individuals pick up my books. They like the novels, even though they're not at all the demographic I'm writing for. And they said, Joshua, I've been wanting to write a book longer than you've been alive. They said, can you help me write my book? And I said, okay, fine, sure. And I've been saying, okay, fine, sure, ever since. And since 2011, so 15 years now, I have written more than 120 full-length nonfiction books. I've run the numbers. That's usually between 7 and 12 per year. For a host of clients, I have written something about everything as a professional nonfiction book ghostwriter. There's memoirs, there's psychology, there's textbooks, there's science, there's sexuality, there is politics, but I repeat myself, there's current events, historical nonfiction. And I have had clients that the vast majority of you know exactly who they are, who are in the A-list, let's say. I used to write for a lot of celebrities who are more so left-wing, as one does. And then it was beginning in 2017 where everyone wanted to publish a book about this Donald Trump president character. And that's when I began taking a turn towards writing right-wing, largely books, because that's the culture that I grew up in. Although it was Scott Adams' influence, and he became a client, I worked with him on his books. His influence directly resulted in me, let's say, losing my Trump derangement syndrome that I had as an NPR American, I like to call it. Don't forget the hyphen, you listen to the radio, you think it's real news. And through his influence, I shed those. And then suddenly I began writing books with all of the right-wing troublemakers, either as their ghostwriter, their editor, or their co-author. And of course, I've done books with Jack Posobiec, like Unhumans, which I think has successfully reframed all right versus left-wing political disputes as nationalism versus communism. And that is now the fight for the next several elections. That's the next decade's worth of battles. And I think we add a lot of fortunate fuel to the fire. And frankly, Kim, we gave a lot of Republican males, let's say, a healthy testosterone shot with that book that was desperately needed. And we've also revived some characters of the past who have been effective anti-communists, anti-socialists, anti-leftists, who were discarded by popular historians because they were very effective at dispensing of leftist strategy and tactics. I have a bunch of books that are coming out this year. Many of them are co-authored, but one of them is my first solo authored book in about 3 years now. So Good They Call You a Fake is an entrepreneurship book. That was a previous one 3 years ago, the Mona Lisa, Groucho Marx action there. But the new book is about my neighbor. I live in Dayton, Ohio. Dayton is next to Springfield, Ohio. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there. Mm-hmm. What actually happened in Springfield, Ohio, when as many as, now officially it's 15,000 Haitians. If you talk to the locals, the number you get is between 32,000 and 35,000. So as much as more than double the number that's on the official record. I went there during all of the media frenzy. I was out on a street corner trying to get into a town hall, to write about, to tweet about. I was working on an op-ed at the time for Human Events, Jack's outfit, which I did publish. It was fantastic, in my opinion. We called it the American Migrant Crisis, doing a little bit of borrowing from Thomas Paine's American Crisis pamphlet. And I'm standing outside, I'm getting interviewed by everyone who's there to interview everyone. And the little man from Politico, this little wiry fellow, he began to interview me, Kim, but the questions that he was asking me were not questions. They were assertions of his opinion, phrased as questions so that I would sound like an idiot if I disagreed with him. And that was one of my first tip-offs that, oh, there's way more to the story than they're actually admitting. Oh, it's been debunked. Right. It's all been debunked, the little man said, Kim. And I thought, wait, what has? And they always use the passive voice. Oh, everything Trump says about Springfield, it's all been debunked. Oh, the whole story, the Haitians, the influx of Haitians into Springfield. Springfield's rather small. It's not even 60,000 people. So you added 50% of your population in just a few months, and you did not expect that there would be any issues. I've had Haitians as classmates. I've had Haitians as colleagues, co-workers, clients. I am deeply familiar with their culture. And you ought not simply import that into a struggling Rust Belt post-industrial town.
Absolutely. I mean, culturally, these groups are very incompatible, and when you interject that many people into such a small community, it's bound to have problems. As my aunt Ann Coulter has been saying forever, demographics is destiny, and for a small town like that, it really it overtakes things. So tell us a little bit about what that has manifested into in Springfield.
Is Ann actually your aunt? Is that real?
She actually is my aunt.
Okay, so that's funny, Kim, because number one, I didn't know that, and number B, no, I said number B. That's funny.
Yeah, number B.
Part B is given your platform, it seems to me as though you have deserved the audience that you've built. So congrats on not using nepotism. That's I
appreciate that. I tried really hard not to. And actually, everybody assumes that Anne got me into this field. She wanted me to be in entertainment. She was getting me interviews at WME, at iHeartRadio, and all that other stuff. Laura Loomer is the one who got me my first journalism gig, believe it or not. So yes. It's funny how that works. She's a very, I disagree with her on many things, but it's she's still a very nice person and did a lot to help me get integrated into this community, and actually was one of the first people. Jack Posobiec was also one of the people who was initially retweeting me a lot and everything. And not to give a spoiler, because I haven't asked you about this, but Jack actually sent me a copy of Unhumans, which I'm excited to read. And I asked him, I'm talking to Josh in a couple days. Maybe when I finish Unhumans, you guys could both come back on and talk about Unhumans. And he's down, so hopefully you are too, and maybe we can do that. But we'll refocus to this thing in Ohio, because we've seen the problems of mass migration on a big scale, but when it comes to the small town problems that are affected or that are caused by this immigration issue, I feel you probably have a better handle on that than most, and I'd love to hear what you were able to the conclusions you were able to come to, and the stuff that you think most need attention and most need assistance after the migrant wave.
Yes. So the first thing is that I'll call them the heritage citizens to make it clear that we're not talking about the newer comers, the newest comers. Although the temporary protected status for the Haitians has expired, it expires tonight as of this recording. We're a couple of hours away from it recording, but there are new Haitian businesses opening up all over town. They're buying new cars. They're renovating houses. This is what I'm seeing because I regularly go over. It's not far of a drive for me, and I'm regularly getting text message, pictures, footage. I've kind of become the mascot of Springfield. I think that's more accurate. They say I am their voice, I am their hero, I am the representative. People have told me, Joshua, you are Springfield now, but I will simply reserve that I am Springfield's mascot. Maybe not the mascot that they wanted, but the one that they deserve, or something like that. There's
the one
a line
that they
in there,
need.
I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. So I am regularly hearing all manner of these things, and so the people that I've interviewed, there have been to this point hundreds upon hundreds, plus Haitians, plus Latinos. There's several thousand in Springfield who, by and large, as far as I can tell, have been a relative value add to Springfield, relative value add, because there's far fewer of them. And where the cultures are different, they are not incompatible. Very key, very key. I think when you examine cultures and who you allow into the country versus who you disallow. But of course, the sheer number of Haitians, the temporary protected status that they had, and all just sort of showing up, the NGO administrative complex of Clark County, Ohio, which includes all manner of government institutions, plus the churches, the nonprofits, the charities, the civic organizations, the community and business, the entire apparatus singularly devotes itself to the well-being of Haitians. It's Haiti first, Haitians to the front. And they love to use the phrase, Haitian neighbors. Help our Haitian neighbors, Haitian neighbors, Haitian neighbors, Haitian neighbors, like a bobblehead or something like that. And the heritage citizenry, meanwhile, they're older, they're aging. In terms of educational attainment, very typical of a rural American, middle American, city where the average income is a fraction of what it is in larger cities, let's say tier E, tier A, or tier B cities. And the city quite struggled, frankly. But during Trump's first administration, the city was on the come up. There was reinvestment. There was public safety measures. There were new places that were opening. There were places that were expanding, all part of Trump's revitalization agenda of manufacturing in middle America. Seemed to be working. And then suddenly Biden gets in, and this is what the heritage citizenry told me. Trump's success stories of his first term, Biden intercepted those across America to turn them into victories for globalism. And so Springfield was one of the pro-Trump communities selected to be punished. This is what the heritage citizenry tells me. And then they...
of the Biden administration, so that makes... I believe that.
Yes, and it does get a little bit worse from here on out, unfortunately. And the reason that it gets worse is because of the racial component of it. Springfield is largely white, older, working class, Christian, okay? Mm-hmm. And there had been Latin immigration. I want to say Spanish American because that feels more honest, but they never say that for whatever reason, because it's like Spanish American War or something. There's probably some nonsense reason they don't say that. In any case, there had been dozens and then hundreds at a time, not tens of thousands showing up. And they show up and they'll open like a restaurant, or they'll go work here, or they'll go pick strawberries for $1.50 an hour. And the Springfield locals are like, it's affordable. Let's say eventually the robot's going to replace them. This is what their experience has been largely. Okay, they get along to enough of an extent, and there's enough value exchange. And when they have cultural intercourse, let's say, having them as neighbors or going to church together, or they get along and the people want to learn English. There's not this sort of separate but equal society, which is exactly what the Haitians did. What the people of Springfield have told me is that assimilation has happened all right. The people of Springfield made to assimilate to Haitian culture, worldview, ways of being and doing. the people of Springfield have been very disappointed to the point of being angry with, I will freely say, the Trump campaign. And the reason why is they say the wrong story went viral. They say, have there been documented instances of Haitians actually eating pets, eating animals? 100% absolutely confirmed. I believe I have sufficiently confirmed that via the research I've done in my book. Cats, squirrels, pigs, mice and rats, and of course, geese and ducks. Here's the thing about it, Kim. They don't care. In fact, the vast majority of feedback I've gotten on this story is, yeah, we had a real stray cat colony problem all over the abandoned houses of Springfield until the Haitians showed up. So they took care of that for us.
Oh
Or there were geese everywhere, hitting ducks. I once hit 3 geese, crossing the street. They're just so pesky and annoying. And then, you start seeing Haitians just walking up and grab them by the neck and take them into the backyard and start plucking them. I mean, that solves our problem. They're at least good for that. That was a value add. Ironically, I call it the third world gaze. You look out and you see wildlife. They look out with their third world gaze and they see food. They see survival. Understand what Haiti is.
It's like, well, they might be eating our animals, but at least they're eating the animals that we were bothered by.
So true. But the real frustration, the real story is that they're frustrated with largely is public safety and driving. Haitian driving is very different from American driving. Things like right-of-way, yield, stoplight, stop sign. These are suggestions in Haitian culture. And this is the aspect I believe is correct about Haitian culture and other third world cultures and truly underdeveloped societies, which does probably have a link to intelligence quotient, if we're being honest with ourselves. Certainly that seems to be the case. I think nature is more correct than nurture in predicting the outcomes of a society. That said, Haitian culture is ethno-narcissistic, yet low trust. So the odd aspect of this, of the influx of Haitians, is they absolutely love one another and are effectively racial and cultural supremacists on behalf of Haiti. And they have found a largely white, frankly, Christian and even Republican establishment in Clark County, Ohio, that they have been able to empower to signal virtue by look how much we love the black people. It's like the Peter Griffin meme, king of the black people. That is every Republican in Clark County has been falling over themselves to line up for that job. Okay.
Right.
That's truly what's happening here. But yet you can't outwoke the left. So good luck.
Yeah. Coming
back to this aspect of their culture, they are known to scam each other regularly. If you look at what the State Department advises for Americans. There's kidnapping is regular, mutilation and torture is regular, murder is regular. They will often believe that if someone has because voodoo is practiced there, they will believe that if a child gets sick or someone in the family dies and they were cursed by a voodoo practitioner, so they need to go then kill that person. And so there have been times where there have been grieving families decided that this elderly person who was known to have sacrificed a chicken recently, they must have put the curse on, and then they killed this person in our family. And then it's not just them, but all the old people. So then they will just go around and they will get out their machetes and they will frankly butcher dozens to hundreds of people at once. And this happens on a regular basis in their ethno-narcissistic, low-trust society that I have less than no respect for. I have less than no respect for the Haitian culture and the Haitian way of life. And that makes sense because Haiti was founded on white genocide, explicitly. The so-called slave revolt, which at that time, by the way, the French under Napoleon, together with the largely biracial or mulatto ruling class of Haiti, had decided to begin offering freedoms and opportunities for something like civil rights to the blacks of Haiti, who had been there for a number of generations by that point. And it was all not fast enough, of course. And there were, let's say, Haitian revolt participants who would later say that they didn't want to be free, they wanted slaves too. Specifically, they wanted to enslave the white people. And
Shocker.
yes, of course. And so what Haiti has created as a society is the direct result of what you would expect from a hateful, bitter, envy-driven, exclusively anti-white and anti-Christian society. And in my opinion, that culture needs to be kept as far away from the United States mainland as is humanly possible. Which, ironically, one of the best things for Haiti is to have Western intervention, I believe, in terms of something like a neocolonialism, which Eric Prince, who's there, he's got his people there. They're engaging in drone warfare, which is just incredible. They're finding these gangs, these various thugs who are going around doing the voodoo-based activities and just bombing the hell out of them with their drones. But this is what an underdeveloped society understands. And what we have understood is when you import that into a city like Springfield, you import the third world, you get the third world. And of course, both Ohioans and Haitians have been killed as a direct result of the influx of Haitians into Ohio. The public safety I mentioned, the traffic, it is a first come, first served basis. Haitians, they show up and they sign up for literally every single freebie, gimme, stimmy, and handout that the county, that the city, that the government will allow them to sign up for. They max out their benefits and find loopholes like, oh, we're actually married in Haiti, but we're going to report that I'm a single mother so I can get more food stamps and more benefits, even though I'm legally, technically married to the father of my children. Meanwhile, he's gonna lie and find someone who he can legally marry and get something to, so that he can stay, and now he can via this green card marriage type relationship, he can just utter scamming of the system. And they're doing this with the full help of the government, the charities, the churches, and they're not even shy about it. They regularly say, donate to our cause. We're asking donations to help our Haitian neighbors stay in Springfield and get all the benefits that they're entitled to as our Haitian neighbors. No human is illegal. No human is temporary. They will like to say these sorts of things. And I have become utterly disgusted with all of the things happening to the people of Springfield, because the correct number of Ohioans killed by Haitians is 0. And every number above that is intent of policy.
Absolutely, it is. And I mean, Ohio isn't the only place where we've seen national coverage of these Haitian schemes, as particularly when it comes to driver's licenses and stuff like that. So, can you explain how that works? Because these are people who, by all intents and purposes, should not be capable of receiving these licenses, but they seem to be getting them in droves. So, how does that work?
Yes. So what had been happening was they would show up and then they would purchase a car and get their license, because previously in Ohio, if you're over the age of 18, you don't need to take a driver's ed test. You can just simply show up and take the minimum viable test and get your license and get your car and go on. And that's how you had so many Haitians engaging in third world driving tactics like, well, there's a car in front of me parked. I see a spot around them if I just simply drive up through someone's yard, around the stop sign. That's how they think. Well, there's nobody there, so I can drive through that yard, and oops, I hit the accelerator. I went flying up into the air and I crashed into somebody's garage. Their pets were in there and I killed all their pets. And somehow it's the fault of the white American who owns that property. The police are called, and guess who the police hassle? They hassle the white guy, because it is presumed that this poor Haitian neighbor just didn't know any better. He just didn't understand. He's trying his best. So they're held to this standard, and the white Americans largely, together with Hispanics, but let's be real, it's mostly the whites, who are held to the actual standard, the true standard. And even worse, because it is assumed that if a white and a Haitian are engaging in any type of verbal conflict or any type of conflict, it is assumed that the white person started it, the white person's responsible, the white person is guilty, the white person is accountable. And this empowers the Haitians to engage in the absolute worst behavior that you could possibly imagine. Sexual harassment is very common, to the point of being physically chased and hassled physically by these 40, 50 something men. This is happening to white teenage girls, happening all over Springfield. It has been for years. On the matter of the driving, fortunately, the representative Phil Plummer at the State House, formerly the sheriff of Montgomery County, he got put into the budget bill, I think, of 2024, 2025, a new rule that everyone in Ohio getting a driver's license has to go through the same driver's ed education that those under 18 do. That seems to have, for some time, that seems to have helped with the matter. But then what the sheriff of Clark County, where Springfield is, I interviewed her at length. She was sheriff from 2017 to 2025. She saw everything and gave me all the receipts on the matter, who's responsible, who's the worst offender, etc. She had pointed out that the Haitians were showing up to these driver's exams and, we need an interpreter, this Haitian interpreter. So a family member would attend, go to the BMV with the person getting the license, and this person would be a paid translator by the state, which of course is very costly. That's one of their scams. They do translation scams, and they pretend not to know English because they realize, wait a second, I can bill for an interpreter 40, 50, 60, over $100 an hour in some cases to pretend that my family doesn't speak English, right? And because it's these white guilt-ridden Christians, largely, I think they're able to easily use the Bible to manipulate the feeble-minded on the matter, and they don't question them. And they say, "Oh, you're only accusing them because they're black, right?" Yeah. And then it starts this whole spiral of, "Oh, I'm not racist, I promise. I'm not racist, I promise." But by the way, on the matter of the translator, the so-called translator, what they're doing is they're completing the test for them. The sheriff told me. That the Haitians are completing the tests for each other. They have one person who figured out how to do it, and then that person completes the test. Of course, the BMV denies this ever happening. Of course, all of the institutions of Springfield have denied every aspect of the story that I'm telling you right now. The only thing that has been different.
Save face. Sorry, continue.
Yes, and again, they're largely Republicans, which it wasn't a surprise because you kind of understand that the gentry of the Republican Party for so long had been pro-immigration, pro-legal immigration, pro-illegal immigration, pro-any immigration, because it suppresses wages and raises profits. That's country club Republicans for you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's worse than that, because now, you have all of these people over here who can't drive and who don't want to participate in society in any meaningful way. And then on top of that, when you comes to damage and property or cars or whatever, the cost of insurance is skyrocketing because we're covering their end of the bargain here when it comes to these accidents that were, quite frankly, spiking in these high immigrant areas.
Yes, and it's also the demand on the housing. It's demands, so it's a property insurance, landlord insurance, rent, housing prices. Everything that is a public service or public good, the line is lengthened significantly, so wait times are up. There's things going on out the door. Haitian women have realized that if the more children they have, the more cash money, freebies, gimmies, stimmies, handouts that they get. So whistleblowers in labor and delivery in Clark County at Mercy Health have shared that there are women who are in their mid to late 40s trying to have kids and still birthing kids to the point where it is life-threatening to have another pregnancy and still trying to do it, and in just blitzing through miscarriages because they get those US dollars. And I don't think Americans understand that worldview, that mindset, that's just who they are. That's the way that they do things. Because the side that says we have to have empathy. Oh, empathy. Where's your empathy? The Economist wrote a hit piece on all of MAGA today saying, oh, the right hates empathy. How the right gets so hateful, Kim. But the issue is that the Haiti First community, I call them, the NGO administrative complex of Clark County, they don't actually have empathy. What they have is projection. And they project their own values and experiences onto the Haitians, into every community who's not from here, not of here. And they say, you are just like me. Followed by some Woodstockian kumbaya nonsense about how all men are created equal. You can imagine if you try, John Lennon type of peacemaking nonsense. And of course, the Haitians love this because then they have no accountability. There's no punishment, and the great irony about all of this is there are actual. Oh, go ahead, Kim.
I'm sorry, it was delayed, but they're inclined to scam too. So when they see these like bleeding heart liberal types who are like, everyone just needs, and like even the bleeding heart Christian types, like we just need to give them the same chance, and everybody, it causes all these problems, and they realize that they can take advantage of that very easily, I believe.
Oh yes, and there's because there is that inherent tribalism, yet it's low trust. And I have observed this in other cultures. I have ghostwritten so many books for so many people in other countries, places, and nationalities. So my experience with Haitian culture is not unique in the underdeveloped world and my own personal experience. This sort of ethno-narcissistic yet low trust within the tribe I have observed. I have observed that also in some Eastern European cultures, in certain aspects of like Russian urban culture. I've observed that before. In some Arabic cultures, I've seen that before. And in some subcontinental cultures, I have seen that before. Whereas they're like racial supremacists and ethno-nationalists, and we are the best and everything about us is amazing. But also we will scam each other the moment their back is turned, and we will kill them and discard the body for a snack. And that's just how they do business in some of these cultures around the world. And you have to understand that that's just the way that they are. And the vast majority of them are probably unassimilatable. They're probably unassimilatable. And then the ones who are will hate that culture so much because it's what they come from, that they're now effectively seen as culture and race traitors. So there have been a number of Haitians who have done well in Springfield. It's not the vast majority, but they have become outcasts because they're race traitors now to their own kind. It's really bizarre. And then they're afraid because now everyone believes that person has been cursed by the voodoo priest, the Bokor it's called. And so therefore you have to stay away from that person, and they're marked, and you'll have bad luck if you interact with them, or if you're seen wearing red around them. They have just an utterly primitive and superstitious understanding of the world. Like for example, corpses. They believe that corpses can still feel pain because death isn't real, because it's always possible that the spirit could be called forth again, possessed, and the person could become a zombie. So they don't. And it sounds like I'm making this stuff up from some late 19th century, racist Victorian zoo display that has Africans in it or something like that. And that is how I have felt, frankly, going and observing the Haitians and documenting it and putting myself amongst them, not announcing, of course, what my true intentions are about writing this book. And I feel like some 19th century anthropologist.
Well, so again, you've become the cheerleader, you say, of Springfield, Ohio. What was there something in particular? I'm sure I can guess, but was there something in particular or a series of things that made you say, you know what, it's time to pick this back up. I got to write this on my own.
The first chip was on my shoulder with the one that never left, and that was the little man at Politico who was asserting to me, it's all been debunked, it's all been debunked. Do you believe Trump's racist conspiracy theory? That's been debunked, Mr. Lisec? That's how the question was worded. Like, oh, come on, what are we doing here? Come on, what is this? And I asked him, I said to him, well, you're asking me, I live over in Dayton. What do the people of Springfield want? Have what do you think they want? Do they want this? And it was like, why would you ask that? Who cares what they want? Black lives matter more. Why would you
The
ever consider?
non-American ones, right?
Yes, yes, and that has been the prevailing and dominant perspective on the matter, and so that never quite sat well with me. And then earlier this year, of course, TPS was supposed to expire, and then there was a lot of back and forth to try to protect it. And by the way, all of the Obama or Biden appointed judges who got in President Trump's way of TPS, every single one of them was non-white. Every single one of them. And you realize, oh, we have a race-based tribalism. I don't see color, says the boomer, to which I say, color sees you. And it was around the time that TPS was supposed to expire, and then, oops, no, it's not. They're going to stay. The liberation of Springfield is canceled. Around that time, I met a woman who casually mentioned that, oh, her brother is a landlord in Springfield. And I thought, oh, Springfield, that's interesting. Oh, yeah. And she begins volunteering. Oh, he's rented the Haitians. Oh, it's crazy. You would not believe his stories. And it's like it all comes back, from almost a year and a half prior to that. And like, okay, what kind of stories? Well, why don't you have him tell you? Here's his number. You should reach out to him. I wasn't thinking about doing a book or anything like that at this point. But I texted him, mentioned who I was, hey, chatting with your sister. And I also have been a landlord in the past and a property investor. What are some of the experiences you've had with Haitians? And whether it's like he's experienced real estate scams, the utter destruction of property, keeping an inordinate, unsanitary number of rodents alive, breeding them, whether they're going to eat the rodents or they were going to sacrifice them for voodoo, he wasn't sure. But what he was certain is that they were keeping them, they were breeding them and growing them for some strange purpose. And he just overall had a very bad experience renting to Haitians. But he said that there is a contingent of Haitians who have an almost obsessive compulsive cleanliness about them and hygiene that is the exact opposite of the other Haitians. And he said it's very weird. They either assimilate and become English speakers and they live like a clean cut, utterly clean lifestyle, completely unlike the other Haitians, or they're like those Haitians, and are, hey, let's breed animals to sacrifice and spread their blood on ourselves as some sort of strange ritual. And if you don't know this, it sounds like the most weird racist conspiracy theory, which is what I have observed, because it's what the response to the people of Springfield has been. They've told me is they'll say, you're racist for saying these bad things are happening in Springfield. But here it is. Oh, it is happening? Well, you're racist for saying it's a bad thing. That's just their culture, you bigot. What, you've never eaten a bird? I mean, this is actually what happened. I saw a journalist do this in real time in responding to. They're not eating the geese in Springfield. That's Trump's racist conspiracy theory. Yeah, but this person saw it, this person saw it, this person saw it. Here's the 3 calls. Here's the wildlife charity that was called into Springfield to try to save more geese and ducks and other waterfowl from being bird napped. Okay, here's this person said they saw it, this person. Here's the picture. Okay. Oh, so it is happening. Okay. Oh, so what? You're so superior, you white supremacist bigot. You've never eaten birds before? You can go to Walmart right now and get a bird. Oh, and I bet goose tastes amazing, doesn't it? You bigot. And that's how it's always done. It's not happening. You're racist for saying it is. Oh, it is happening. Well, now you're racist for saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah, it's the weird white savior complex that I just like it. It does no one any favors, and it ultimately doesn't even make them look like better people, which is seemingly what their objective tries to be.
Yes, and at the same time, I think that the older white contingent of Springfield has been so demoralized by accusations of racism and bigotry. So many of them have just simply self-silenced and self-censored. Yeah. And it's like, I did a town hall this past week. Okay, I was there with the investigative reporter Jack Windsor, and we had this event, and I want to say like every single citizen of Springfield who spoke, maybe the couple dozen who did, we were there for 2.5 hours. Every single Springfield resident who spoke prefaced their remarks with, I promise I'm not racist. I love all people from everywhere. I'm so not racist. I wouldn't care where these people are from. I promise this. And they had to do this whole like anti-racism land acknowledgement disclaimer thing, you know. And I thought, well, first of all, you're never going to outwoke the left. Number two, Trump won. Stop be clowning yourself. And number three, and this is the hardest part for them to understand. I haven't even said this to Springfield. So if you're watching and you're in Springfield right now, this is the horse medicine for you. If you actually were racist, they would still be alive. And you know that. And the reason that you know that is because if Springfield was actually deemed to be racist or perceived to be racist, what would that mean? Oh, it's not safe for Haitians here. We need to resettle the Haitians somewhere else. So it is the very fact that you are not racist that has resulted in this all being brought down upon you. And then double whammied, adding injury to injury with you being called racist no matter what you say, no matter what you do. And you continually beclown yourselves with these anti-racism humiliation acts and rituals for people who hate you regardless. And they hate you because you're white. They've punished you for being white. And it's time to stop being anti-white. And they say you're racist. You say, so who cares? Yeah. There's a Haitian that just blasted into that business down there, and the person's not going to be able to afford their rent this month because of the Haitians. Oh, you're only saying that because they're black. Maybe I am. So what? Is that going to fix the person's front? Is that going to fix the small business? They have to shut down now. They can't feed their kids, and that's your fault. Like, the spirit of fight has been demoralized out of this people, and that sickens me most of all. You know, Kim, there's a group called Champion City Hate Watch. They tried to get the hotel to cancel the town hall. By the way, they threatened the hotel. They threatened violence. Police showed up because of me showing up. Josh was hosting this town. All this racist conspiracy theorist from Twitter, exactly. Or what have you. And the group's called Champion City Hate Watch. And this is what I'm trying to teach the right. It's about hate. It's about hate. Yes, I hate what was done to the Champion City. Watch how much I hate. Champion City Hate Watch. We must embrace and amplify. That is the only way that we can fight back. And of course, there is a little red book by Josh Lisec and Jack Posobiec, which talks all about this, isn't there?
There is, and I'm excited to get into it. Well, I mean, this is one of those things when it comes to, like, you know, the suicidal white empathy, that very much ties into white culture in ways that, you talk about, like, the narcissism of these third world nations and the people that come from them. The way that we feel shame is obviously very different. We, as white individuals, here, we don't want to be called bigots. We don't want to be called sexist, homophobes, whatever the ist or phobe word is, because we genuinely feel shame, and that shame manifests as, like, anxiety and stuff like that, and we actively want to project a different image in order to not get the shame. So this is one of the ways that these third world immigrants have effectively been able to infiltrate all of these communities, because, oh, no, I promise you, like, I don't hate you because you're dark. I don't hate, so let us do whatever we want. Okay, let me just sit back and I'll say nothing, and you can, but, ram your car into my garage and kill my animals, or you can hit my child going down on the freeway because you don't know how to drive, and, I don't want to make you feel like I don't like you because of your race, so I'm just going to sit here and be quiet. And like I said, that's one of the main factors in the suicidal empathy, is that they don't care when they kill somebody. They don't care when the neighborhood is uncomfortable by them. They don't care if you miss your cat or your dog, or they don't care if you like the geese in the local community parks. None of that matters to them, nor does your opinion matter. So when we're on this side desperately trying to play damage control by, repairing this reputation that they've tried to put on us, they're over there actively doing more and more damage. So we're in this cycle where we're, effectively just letting people who hate us take over and redefine what these communities are. And then they turn to shit because guess what? The reason they moved there in the first place was because Western civilization is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to the world, and that's why everybody wants to come here. But they want to do that while representing their own countries, while not assimilating, while taking advantage of everything that we've built here. And then we're the bigots when that's not okay with us. We're the bigots when we can't afford our housing. We're the bigots when we can't afford to insure our cars. We're the bigots for simply noticing.
Yes, and I think another part of that is they will be absolutely racist and bigoted all day long. But God forbid that you are as well, or worse. This it's not even that you are racist as well in response to the racism and the ethno-narcissism and the in-group bias that they have against you. And it's like the origin story of Haiti is literally kill all the white people. That is their founding story. You want to import that into poor white Ohio? It's like, yes, and that's a good thing. We must punish them. They were brought there as punishment, obviously. That's what I've collected from the matter. But the issue is even worse because it's not like, oh, let's fight bigotry with bigotry. Let's fight discrimination with discrimination. It's more so, I don't like that you are bigoted towards me because I'm not Haitian. Oh, well, that's racism. So what they will do is they will recast the Haiti First community. They will recast your resistance to their bigotry as you are the bigot, truly. They don't know any better. They don't understand. And we see this in law enforcement and policing. We see this in public safety. We see this in public assistance. All of these things have been dismissed and simply white lied away with a lie of omission by not being reported on by local newspapers and journalists. And we saw this at the town hall. The local CBS affiliate, WHIO TV, was there. They were recording the whole thing, interviewing everyone. The story that they ran did not mention me once, did not mention Jack Windsor once, did not mention the book once. It included no footage of the event itself. What they did is they found two approximately 3 to 5 second clips of two of the Springfield residents saying a couple of positive things about the Haitians, clipping that and then recasting it as a pro-Haitian immigrant rally.
You really can't make journalists enough.
Yeah, and it was like that. This takes skill. Like, that was incredible skill. So what they would do is they would, there were a couple of people who were talking about, something like, yeah, there have been some good friendships we made with the Haitians, but the vast majority have been negative and awful, and we want them all gone. They clip it to where he says just those words. There have been some good experiences with the Haitians. And I clip what he says before that, clip what he says after, and cut it and just play that little part right there. I think Scott Adams always called that the Rupar edit. After the CNN blogger or whatever the heck he's about, Aaron Rupar or whatever his name is, because Rupar is famous for creating those sort of edits, right? Kind of like with the Covington Kids hoax. Yeah, that was a clever Rupar edit where you disappear what happened before and after to just show that, and that's what happened to Springfield, and the credence that was granted to the people was that as if they had said, when they're noticing the geese being scooped up in the ducks and cats getting strung up and all the manner of things, rabbits also, and pigs, so random, squirrels, mice, and rats, all manner of things. Because in voodoo, they're spirits that you sacrifice to. If goats and chickens aren't available, the spirits allegedly allow substitution of other animals for blood sacrifice and consumption, and sprinkling of blood everywhere, and all the things that they utterly barbarically do. In this, I mean, what is below a third world culture? It's like a fourth world culture. That's like a fourth world culture.
I can't believe that wouldn't be compatible with small Springfield, Ohio.
Yes,
sacrifice your chickens.
Yes, and the Clark County's combined health district, they have released all manner of reports on how to be culturally sensitive to the Haitians. Like understand that in their culture they don't trust doctors, They believe in corporal punishment for children and also for the women who are acting up. They have these names for it. They believe that most diseases are caused by hot foods. So, for example, they believe that certain kinds of pork can cause the flu. Be very important to be sensitive to their beliefs. And they don't, they believe that the best way to cure an HIV or AIDS is by having unprotected intercourse with a virgin. I'm slightly exaggerating, but am I? Am I really exaggerating?
No.
And they're just mass importing this. One of the people I interviewed got tuberculosis from the Haitians. She had to go into like isolation for 6 months and cancel everything she was doing for 6 months because of tuberculosis from the Haitians. She worked for the post office employee. It's so bad. It's so bad. One of the ways that the city has successfully silenced the vast majority of whistleblowers, though, is they've demanded non-disclosure agreements and confidentiality agreements, or if you break it, you lose your pension.
Wow. It's incredible that they can get away with stuff like that. You would think that non-disclosure wouldn't cover, literally covering for criminal behavior, but the wrong people are getting punished because of that.
It's Haiti first. Haiti first means Haiti first. This community was selected to be punished because they are white, and I don't really know how else to put it. This is what the people have told me themselves. We voted for Trump, so they're going to punish us because we're white. We're white Trump, white Christian, working class Trump voters. It's interesting in that it's a conflict that's not. It's a white on white conflict. It is the white gentry against the white working class.
That's true. That's very true. And they both think that they're righteously correct. So now that this problem has embedded itself, quite frankly, like a tick, like what's the next move? Like how, we don't have the aggressive deportations that we need. And we have these groups of quite majoritively boomer, but still like overly suicidally empathetic white communities who would rather not be called a name, even if it means losing their community. So now that the problem's here and shows no sign of really leaving, what do we do? Is there a solution? Is there what's the response to that? Or at least like how are people responding to that in Springfield?
As of today, the last day of TPS, before it's allegedly set to expire officially, and all the extensions have expired, people are saying that ICE is supposed to be rolling in there with trucks and tanks and choppers and all these sorts of things. And of course, I'm getting text messages from people updating, like, no ICE fans yet. I'm going to be out there with my signs and pom poms, cheering them on,
handing out free water.
Yes. Well, free ice water. Yes. This is what I'm hearing, but as of this recording, there haven't been anything but rumors yet about mass deportations. And like I said, I'm continually getting updates from various citizens around town that the Haitians don't seem to be preparing to leave. They seem to be spreading, frankly. Yeah. Opening a new business here, opening a new business there, renovating this apartment building there. Oh, they're now having a block party over there. Oh, they've opened a bar and lounge over here. They're getting these supplies, they're learning to drive. They do not seem like a population in any kind of fear of deportation in mass.
So there's I don't like the people who are like, well, I like a lot of things about this person, but not a lot of other things. But I can't help but bring up Nick Fuentes in this conversation because I remember when Nick was talking about, we enjoy the idea of deportations, but as soon the liberal media is going to hinge on the crying children and the separating of the families and all of that other stuff in order to emphasize, the empathy to stir up that suicidal empathy. So do you think that the residents, by and large in Springfield, Ohio, are ready for that kind of media manipulation? Are they beyond the stage where they feel they need to, cry for these situations? Or are we still stuck in that suicidal empathy? Because my fear with the deportations is let's say they do go in tomorrow and they bring the trucks in, and CNN and MSNBC set up, and they interview these weeping mothers and the crying children and all that other stuff, and there's going to be a citizen outcry because how horrible it is to watch these things. So do you think Springfield is in a place where they're ready to just say, nope, we're done? Like, sorry you feel bad about it. Criminals get separated from their families all the time. Or are they going to lean back and do, oh, well, gee, they're people. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
With the, no human is temporary, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They don't even say that. I just say that they should, because that would be hilarious. Like, it's so easy to just predict what they're going to say. So the approximately so I commissioned the first professional and academic poll on the Haitian influx of Springfield voters. The vast majority have had negative experiences. The vast majority want them gone. Not quite a majority, but a significant number have known family members and friends who've left Springfield because of the Haitian presence. It's that bad. The mode is 7, meaning the most common number, but the median is, the median is 4. The mode is also, meaning a lot of people know several people who've left Springfield because of the Haitian influx. The vast majority want them gone. But like I'd said earlier, the people have been effectively silenced. They've had their jobs threatened, businesses threatened. When the media came cruising in 2024, the first people to speak to the media about whether it's the cats or the ducks or the cars or the crime or what have you, their words were twisted. They were made to say something else. And we interviewed this racist Trump voter who racistly said a number of racist things. Their address is here, and they have these 2 kids, ages this and this, who go to this school. So they were doxing Springfielders with punishment, of course, as punishment. And people lost jobs, businesses had to get shut down, kids had to get pulled from schools over this. They were being bullied. And the backlash against the truth of Springfield was largely not coming from within Springfield, but other neighboring towns like the shithole that is Yellow Springs, Ohio. We all know Springfield, Yellow Springs rather. We know it as Portland, Little Portland. All the trouble of Portland, Oregon, all the communists and the hippies and the potheads and whatever the heck weird asexual LGBT kind of stuff, where it's like it's all about gay sex, but it's asexualized via obesity. You know what I mean? Right. That's all in Yellow Springs, Ohio. So the shithole that is Yellow Springs, Ohio, that group of baby boomer age Woodstockian, we could call them Beatles era protesters, show up in Springfield to put on this big display of alleged support for the Haitian community. And they will probably be showing up in some kinds of protests. I think the best thing that could happen is basically blitzkrieg deportations. Show up, scoop as many of them out as you can under cover of darkness, and they're gone before sunrise. That would be the best way to handle the situation, to prevent Alex Pretty, Renee Good type of scenes, and also these pseudo compassionate scenes where, oh look, here's up close, here's a Haitian child and Haitian mother, oh look, they're being separated, look at the tears, look, zoom, enhance, look at those tears.
Exactly. It's really disappointing. So I guess we're just at the stage where we're just praying for actual mass deportations, and hopefully the end of these extensions will actually bring that about. But again, this is a terrific book. I'm excited for it to come out. Haitians of Springfield. Everybody should pre-order it. Why don't you tell, where is it? Just on Amazon? Where can people buy your book?
Yeah, most people, you can get it from Amazon. I think it's also available for pre-order from pretty much every website you can imagine buying a book from. Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Bulk Books, bookshop.org. The list would go on. Of course, we are expecting a nationwide in-store release in October.
That's terrific. So as we wrap this up, what's kind of like the main message that you want to drive home to people who may be interested in buying this book and are kind of on the fence, and what's your message to them, and what's your pitch in order to convince them that they should read your book?
The stories I've shared from the book already with Springfield residents, they tell me that it is cathartic. They say it's validating. They say, finally, someone believes us. There is an inordinate amount of comic relief throughout the book. Josh Lisec, amateur anthropologist, remarking on what I am observing. There are so many episodes that I've documented that will make you laugh uncomfortably out loud while reading the book. So bear in mind where you are in public while reading and consuming the pages, because so much of this is a dark comedy, unfortunately. But also it is the first full documentation of this American migrant crisis to an utmost detailed and professional extent. I was commissioned by Skyhorse Publishing, their imprint Regnery, to write a 65,000 word book. And the last word count I turned in from the second draft is 154,000. So I'm almost 100,000 words over my maximum allowed. But they're going with it because it's that important. And I could only include like 1% of 1% of what I found in Springfield.
That's incredible. Well, again, thank you for accumulating all this information, and thank you very much for coming on the show to talk about it. I hope everyone pre-orders your book, and it is a tremendous success.
My pleasure. Thank you, Kim.
And that was today's episode of WARPAINT. I hope that you wear it well. Huge thank you to Josh Lisec for coming on and laying out the real story from Springfield that the media still won't touch. Go pre-order Haitians of Springfield. The links will be in the description and in the comments. If you're not already subscribed to WARPAINT, fix that. Hit the notification bell so you catch every episode. This is WARPAINT, brought to you by Warboy Studios. We're building something real over there. No filters, no apologies. And for the stories that don't make it to the main show, the extra receipts, and the follow-ups, check out leftover.news. I'm Kim Coulter. Thanks for watching. Stay uncensored. We'll see you next time.
Tired of sleeping and dreaming about the shell of a being. I'm tired of working and bleeding. I am the god and I mean it.